In this video, we're going to speak of how to complete the workers' compensation leave form for the MTRS. The first question you might ask is, when is a workers' compensation form required? A form is required when an employee is on a leave of absence that's covered by either Mass General Law Chapter 152 Section 34 benefits, which is known as total incapacitation, or Mass General Law Chapter 152 Section 35 benefits, which is known as partial incapacitation. Now, the reason it's important we get this form is that service and membership rules are different for workers' compensation leave than they are for other types of leave. So it's crucial that we find out that the person's on leave to make sure that we're applying the right creditable service rules to them. And for more information on creditable service and exactly why that would matter, please feel free to see our training on creditable service, which covers workers' compensation. Now, with regard to the form, it can be located on our external website, as you can see up here, state.ma.us/employers. And if you're on the form section, which is what it defaults to, if you simply scroll to the bottom, you'll see that it's under contribution reporting, and it's right next to the leave of absence form, as well as your deduction submittal form and the military leave reporting form. Now, we have pre-filled a form that we can go through together. Just kind of cover what all the different fields mean. So first, we have our member, trip fallen, last 4 digits to their social, date of their injury, last day worked prior to going on workers' comp. So a lot of time these 2 dates are going to be exactly the same. Sometimes, they don't go on comp until the next day. Now, they may not get approved for compensation for like a week, but it's approved retroactively. So you want to include the first day it becomes legally eligible. Even if they didn't know it the first day, it might take a week for the controller or the policyholder to approve them. However, you want to date this back to when the compensation does start. And you can see then we have a benefit start date, a benefit stop date, and the date the first check is offset when the person's on comp. So I think it's pretty straightforward. So person's going to start, this is when they came back, this is when it affected their pay. Now you might be saying to yourself, well, they're not back yet, so I can't fill this date out. It's perfectly understandable. If they're still on workers' comp, leave that date blank, and eventually we'll have to get a new form or an updated form that will just include the stop date. Date the employee returned to work, same thing, right? I mean, if they're not back to work yet, you can't tell us that, and you also can't tell us what percentage they came back to. And you'll also see that in the margins, we try to give you some information on workers' compensation, when the deductions should or should not be taken, and some of the limits around that as well. It's a pretty straightforward form, but hopefully this has helped a little bit. Now, a couple of other things just to touch on here. Well, now that the form's filled out, well, now what do you do? So first, please email the completed form to your assigned employer services representative. And again, you can find a blank copy of the form on our website. And also, please send that form as soon as you can, or as soon as you have it completed after the person's gone on workers' comp. That'll be important when we're evaluating the associated contribution reports. Now, once you've sent the form, please enter the leave event in MyTRS, right? So under the roster, under employment events, you want to enter in an event for the member to cover their workers' compensation, and make sure you're picking workers' compensation as the type. Now, if you're not sure how to enter a leave, you can go to a different video on our website on entering leave of absences, and it's pretty much going to be all the same information, except for the fact that you're picking the workers' compensation options. We have other resources that are available on our website. We have written guides. We have the video guide on entering leave of absences. We also have the video guide on creditable service, which covers the specific rules around regular compensation. We didn't want to repeat them here just to not have the redundancy on the website. And then last but not least, reminder, do not take MTRS deductions on supplemental pay when a member is on workers' compensation full incapacitation. So hopefully this has helped clear up a couple of the fields and what needs to be completed for a workers' comp form. Thank you for joining us, and hope you have a great day.